Tyler from Aspire Sports, and I'm back. I'm back, baby, like Cam Newton. It's been a while since I made a video. I know. So today's video, what I'm going to be talking about, fantasy football during the NFL playoffs and how you can play fantasy football. What is it exactly? If you're interested in playing it, where can you play it? What are the different types of scoring? What's your draft strategy should be? All that. Also, I'm going to give you my free rankings for the NFL playoffs for the pre-draft process. So all of that in today's video. I'm going to get to it all. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you do me a big favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button as I'll be posting new content throughout the offseason. So why play fantasy football during the NFL playoffs? Well, very simple. A lot of people do DFS. People do also sports betting, your player props, your over-unders, your money line, all that kind of stuff against the spread, whatever it is you want to do. But why play fantasy football during the playoffs? Well, because we don't have that much time left before a long off season, before the next season starts. So get in your fantasy football while you can. So where can you play it if you're interested in playing? Well, the first, NFL.com. This is probably going to be the easiest, especially if you're going to just do it by yourself, because there's public leagues that you can join over at NFL.com. All you got to do is go over to the fantasy tab. Then it'll take you over here where you can click on playoff challenge. Just click on that, and there will be public leagues that you can join. I believe that you can also, I've never played over here, so I believe you can create your own league as well, though, if you want to do with your friends and just do the scoring on here, whatever the case may be. Now, don't look at my lineup. Once again, I've never played it over here, so I just was putting stuff together. No idea how this is going to work out. I was just putting stuff together, seeing what it was like. All right. So you can join over here. The fantasy footballers, I believe, have their own league that you can join. It's totally free as well. Also, you can go over to mfl.com. I'll put the link down in the description as well. But you can go over there. Now, over there for the regular season, you do have to pay to use their site. I don't know if you have to use it or if there's a fee to use their site during the playoffs, but there's a bunch of customization options over there that you can do for your leagues. It's really good for getting pretty weird with the scoring. So whatever you want to do, you can do that over there as well. And then the last option would be just doing the scoring yourself. That's what I do personally with my friends. One of my friends keeps track of all the scoring, and we do a live draft, and we do the drafting that way. Just, no on the computer or anything. You write down, pen and paper, your players, your team, and you just keep track of your players, and somebody keeps track of the scoring. So those are all viable options for you. Now let's talk about the scoring and how exactly fantasy football works during the NFL playoffs. So I'm going to talk about how NFL does their scoring and how my league does their scoring. And the biggest difference is going to be what to do with players after they get eliminated. Can you add new players? Can you pick somebody different? So what it looks like NFL does is you just basically pick from the whole player pool. You don't actually draft players. You just pick players, whoever you want, to go on to the next round. Now, there is going to be somewhat the same strategy that you want to implement, and I'll get to draft strategies here in a minute. But basically, it looks like you pick players, whoever you want, and then if they go on to the next round, the divisional round, they get a 2 times bonus. And then say they go on to the conference championship, then it's going to be a 3 times. And then a 4 times bonus if they get into the Super Bowl. So you could have some really high scoring gains from these players if they continue on in the playoffs. Where if, say, you have Najee Harris, right? Najee Harris loses the first round. Well, I think that you can pick a new player for the next round, the divisional round. They just won't get that bonus, like a 2 times bonus, if he were to win his first game. So it's going to come down to picking the right teams, and really whoever picks the right teams is going to continue to get those bonuses and really high scores. So that's the NFL. And once again, I don't play it. I was just looking at it briefly. So let me know if I'm wrong down in the comments below. And then what we do for my league personally is you draft your own team. Okay. So you draft your players, and then as they start to get eliminated, you're done with those players. You can't use them anymore. You can't pick up any players. There's no bench, nothing like that. You pick your players, they get eliminated, they're done. So it's a little bit different than the NFL, where you can just continue to plug and play new players. You just don't get a bonus. Where my league, you're done. So you want to be able to try to pick teams that are going to the Super Bowl. So that's going to lead us into draft strategy and what you should be doing during this type of draft, because it's not the same as your redraft league. It's just not the same type of draft where a guy like Najee Harris, he would probably go pretty early in the redraft league for next season in the first round, where in this league, do you really think the Steelers are going to win this week? I mean, I'm a Steelers fan. Do you think the Steelers are going to win? I don't think they're going to win. So you don't really want to draft Najee Harris if you're doing a league like that, even this kind of league. You don't really want to pick Najee Harris because then you don't get that 2 times bonus if he gets to the next round. So for when you're drafting players as well, you don't want to be drafting guys that you just don't think are going to get to the next round in the playoffs. You want to draft guys that are going to go to the Super Bowl. So my draft strategy is what I do is I pick a team from the NFC and I pick a team from the AFC. Now, what team I pick might change a little bit because this year I think it's really up in the air. I would not be surprised if a team like Dallas gets to the Super Bowl. Or if a team, honestly, like the Oakland Raiders win this week, I would not be surprised by any of that. I think the NFL this year is really up for grabs, and we'll see who wins. But what I would do is I would pick a team from the AFC, pick a team from the NFC, and maybe one dark horse team, either from the NFC or AFC, that you could possibly see going as well. Just a team that not everybody is high on, because I'll get into why in a moment. But a team from the NFC, just stack that team. Ride that team. Now, it might change. Maybe you might go into the draft saying, hey, I want to draft a bunch of the players from, let's say, the Los Angeles Rams. But the first couple of draft picks off the board, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, maybe even Odell Beckham, because people are really high on them going to the Super Bowl. Who knows? So now that kind of changes your draft strategy. So what I would do is just pick a brand new team that you think is going to go to the Super Bowl and just stack that team. Stack them, stack them, stack them. Pick the quarterback, pick the running back, pick the wide receiver. Because if that team goes to the Super Bowl, well, you have a really, really good chance of winning that league. Whereas if they don't go, no well. Because chances are you're not going to be able to pick a player from each team and really have much success. You want to just stack a team from each side. And then also, kind of how I talked about the dark horse. Last year, I was picking players on the Cleveland Browns. Because what if they won? What if they won their first game, which they did, and nobody was drafting them? Guys like Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, these are studs that nobody will really draft. This year, what I've been noticing is the Las Vegas Raiders. You have Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. Nobody wants to take a stab on these guys. So you can get studs later in the draft for a really good cost. And if they win, which I think the Raiders could certainly win. Do I think they win? No, but they could certainly win. And then you have those players for another week where you get them late in the draft and it's just too good value to maybe go a guy like Byron Pringle or a guy like Josh Jacobs because you think the Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl. Because you also have to consider that Byron Pringle could score 5 points for the entire playoffs, where a guy like Josh Jacobs could score 20 plus in one game and easily be better value than a guy like Byron Pringle. So you have to take all of that into consideration. And that's why these leagues are super difficult to try to draft in. It's really hard to win these leagues. But the best thing that I would do is just draft a team that you think is going to go to the Super Bowl and in the AFC, NFC, and then maybe one dark horse team where you just load up on their studs, a team that nobody really wants, maybe even like the Pittsburgh Steelers, where if they win this week, man, you're sitting pretty early on. So that is how I would do it. That's my draft strategy. And to kind of wrap things up, I know it's a lot of information. If you have any questions, just drop them down below. How to get started. Maybe you need somebody to do a league. I could help out. Just let me know down in the comments below. Also, make sure you check out my player rankings. Like if you're doing a draft, go ahead, use this totally free. I'm going to update this probably on Saturday because, once again, not sure if Derrick Henry comes back. I think Leonard Fournette is coming back this week, but we still have some guys that are kind of up in the air here. So I'll be updating this on Saturday prior to the game. So make sure you check that out. Totally free down in the description below. So that being said, hopefully you enjoy the content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.